Hello everybody again, and welcome to your second sample question with regard to the self-employed requirements. As always, my name is Kyle Broda with FullSkillsExamPrep.com, and it is our pleasure to help you pass your ICCRC Full Skills Exam. Okay, if you're following along in the books that we offer on the website, you'll know that this is on page 32 and 33 of your test day data book. You also have questions to do on this topic in the exam simulations as well. And of course, if you're taking the seminar, you know that we talk about this topic thoroughly. It is essential to read through these links over here, of course, to really round out your understanding as well. And let's jump into the question of the day. All right, so we have Bridget here. So Bridget is a ballet dancer from France who has been in the business for 10 years. During this time, she has toured the world as a backup dancer for some of the top ballet groups in the world, and even studies in some classes on the side when she has the time and is not touring. She tells you that her agent, Max, is a large part of the reason for her success. Since she began her career, he has organized all of her tours, classes, finances, etc., so that she can concentrate on her dancing, since when she's on tour, she usually works about 16 hours a day. For taking care of all of the business side of her career, she pays him a commission of 10% of her salary. Bridget has recently decided to move to Canada as she would like to become an agent for ballet dancers, since she feels that as she gets older, she'll not be able to continue dancing at such a high level of competition. As such, she asks you, her RCIC, if she would be a good candidate for the self-employed category. What would you advise? Okay, then we have the potential answers. So we have A, yes, as she has the requisite amount of experience at a world-class level. Yes, as she will be a success in Canada. We have C, no, as she will likely not meet the intent and ability requirements. And we have D, no, as she worked internationally for ballet groups rather than in one country. All right, so when we take a look at the scenario, what we're looking at, of course, are the important parts in here. So if you want to pause the video and read through this to see what is important, that would be a good idea. Okay, if you read through that scenario and you're taking a look at which parts are important in here, probably a few pieces of the story jumped out at you. So we have her experience. When we look at her experience in terms of role, we have to see if she's at a world-class level, self-employed, etc. So we can see that with her, She's toured the world, so internationally, that's great. Remember, that doesn't necessarily mean she's at a world-class level, except with some of the top ballet groups in the world. So that means that she might be considered at a world-class level. Okay, with this as well, you can see that her agent plays a very large part of her success by taking care of all the business side of everything. And of course, we have to look at the time as well. So she has been in the ballet industry for 10 years. And since she began her career, Max is taking care of everything, the business side. All right, and of course, we have to look at that intent. So she would like to become an agent for ballet dancers in Canada. All right, so when we take a look at that information in context of the entire story, this helps us to take a look at some of the answers as well. So let's take a look at A. Would she be a good candidate to apply under the self-employed stream? Yes, as she has the required amount of experience at a world-class level. So let's explore this one here. If you take a look again at that scenario, you probably know the answer to this one as to whether or not A is correct or incorrect. Okay, so remember that the time requirements with experience, of course, are 2 one-year periods of self-employment in, this might be athletics. All right, or participation at a world-class level. Remember that these are in years, right? So it can't be 2 months here, 3 months there. It has to be in years. With her, we see that she has 10 years of experience in this at a world-class level. Okay, so you might say, yes, she definitely has the experience at a world-class level. However, remember that experience is only one of those requirements needed to satisfy the requirements to immigrate as a self-employed person. The other areas, of course, have to do with the intention and ability to become self-employed in Canada. All right, so remember that a person needs to have each of these in order to be a good candidate for the self-employed class. All right, so from this we could see that A is incorrect. Let's take a look at B. All right, so for B, yes, as she'll be a success in Canada. And that's the option that we're exploring now. So as we saw in the slides from yesterday, something that needs to be proven, of course, is the intention and ability to become self-employed in Canada. To measure this, there's a points system, of course, and we'll explore this one more thoroughly in another video later on this week. But this is part of what the agent uses to determine if the person can become economically established in Canada. So as we saw, the minimum score is 35 points that she would need, but it's very important to remember that this isn't the only requirement if somebody wants to immigrate as a self-employed person. With Bridget, we could see that she actually has the minimum required amount of points just due to her experience. We don't really know that much about her education, language, adaptability, and age. But just looking at her points with regard to her experience shows us that she has the minimum amount of points. However, it's important to remember that that is only one of the elements that is needed in order to prove intention and ability to become self-employed in Canada. Another one is, of course, with finances, as we saw in the previous video. All right, so remember that she would have to just prove that she has enough to support herself for her first little bit in Canada while she becomes self-employed in the area that she intends to become self-employed in. Again, with this one, the scenario didn't really give us too much information about this, so we wouldn't really consider this too much in terms of an ICCRC-based question. However, with intention and ability to become self-employed in Canada, again, remember that the business side is really important for this. So some ways that a person can prove their ability to operate a business with the area that they intend to operate in is with a business plan, some partnerships, maybe a visit, business experience, and language. In her case, the important part in the scenario that we saw is that it doesn't look like she has any business experience at all. As you saw in the scenario, her agent, Max, did all the business for her. So from the beginning of her career, so for the past 10 years, he's handled all of the business side of her ballet career. All right, so we can see this over here when we look at the scenario again. So yes, she has a very extensive career touring and working at a world-class level, except you could see that Max took care of pretty much all the business side of it. As you can see, it says, she tells you that her agent Max is a large part of the reason for her success. Since she began her career, he has organized all her tours, classes, finances, etc. And you can even see later on in the scenario, for taking care of all of the business side of her career, she pays him a commission. On top of this, when you look at her intent, she wants to come to Canada to become an agent, just like Max is, for ballet dancers. But as we saw, she doesn't have any experience in business or being an agent or anything like that. So that would obviously play a large role in whether or not she can become a success in Canada. So with this, we could see that B is most likely incorrect. Yes, she meets that 35-point minimum requirement, but her intent in Canada is to be an agent, and as we saw, she doesn't have any business experience or anything like that as well. Okay, so let's move on to another option here, which is D. So for D, they give us the option of no, as she worked internationally for ballet groups rather than in one country. The answer to this one might be pretty obvious to you, but we'll explore it anyways. Okay, so we could see that when we look at experience requirements, so we have at a world-class level and self-employment as well. When we look at relevant experience, again with athletics, we could see that they have to meet 2 1-year periods of experience in self-employment, 2 1-year periods of experience at participation at a world-class level, or a combination. So 1 year plus 1 year would be the combination at a minimum. So we can see with the D, Noah, she worked internationally for ballet groups rather than in one country. This would be incorrect, just because there's no mention anywhere about a person working at a world-class level who has to only work in one country. Okay, so D is most likely incorrect, and let's take a look at C now. All right, so with C, no, as she will likely not meet the intention and ability requirements. Okay, again, when we take a look at her intention and ability, we can see that there are quite a few areas in the scenario that lead us towards the correct answer in here. All right, so with regard to the ability, it seems like as her intention is to come to Canada to become an agent for ballet dancers rather than work as a ballet dancer herself, that she might not have that ability, just because, as you could see in the scenario, Max did pretty much everything for her with regard to the business side of it. If you remember, we spoke about the Kim case the other day, and that was an example of this as well, where a person had 40 years of experience as an actress, but no business experience. So we could see that with her, she did have that relevant experience. She did have 10 years at a world-class level. She does have the intention to be self-employed in Canada. However, she just doesn't have the ability to become self-employed in Canada, is what the agent might say when they refer to her intention, of course, to work as an agent, combined with her lack of experience and knowledge in this area. So when we take a look at C, we can see that she will likely not meet those requirements of intent and ability. Okay, so she might not have the ability to become self-employed in Canada, just because even though she has quite a lot of experience in ballet, she doesn't have any experience in working as an agent for ballet dancers or business experience in general. So that is why you would choose this one as the correct answer. All right, so when you take a look at the whole thing again, you can see that C is the correct answer. And the focus, of course, in this question is just her ability to become self-employed in Canada. Okay, as always, a very big thank you for tuning in and for just taking that extra step to study towards your ICCRC Full Skills Exam. My name is Kyle Broda from fullskillsexamprep.com, and as you know, we're here to help you pass your ICCRC exam. Once you become an RCIC, you have tons and tons and tons of help from our partners as well. So go visit our website to see how to contact CJ Tremblay at IDP IELTS, Sante Tesselin at Scotiabank, and of course for CPD courses at RCIC CPD. All right, so thanks again. Have yourselves a really great day.